What's up, YouTube? Hey guys, everybody, men, women, children, whatever, whoever watches the videos, putting some good back out into the world after doing so much dumb shit in my life. 36, going almost 36, a couple months away from that, but yeah, we're gonna talk about the road to prison today. Skipping the jail parts and all the dumb shit that comes along with cabling people up in jail and all that. We're going to skip that today and go on to the Rotary Farm. Which the Rotary Farm is a place where they send everybody to get your number, to get classification, to get where you're going. You can be there 2 weeks, you can be there 6 months. You can be there a year before you get shipped. You can actually become a permanent there if that's what you want to do. But that place wasn't nice. Shit, fuck that. I wanted out of there. But anyway, so that's ain't exactly like jail because you get yard time and stuff, and you get to go outside when they call wreck and stuff, and it's not just concrete and all that. It's a yard. It's a prison yard, and there's other prisoners. On the they got 2 yards split, then they got the rec room. You know, when we have the rec room, the permanents don't have the rec room at that time, but they get it all day long. So for those hours or whatever, we get the rec room and all that stuff. So in the rec room, you know, you got a pool table, you got weights, you got basketball, you got it. You know, anything you can think about, like a big ass community center. That's pretty much what it is. It's like a community center on the street, but with bad people in it. You get what I'm saying? Like there's people that deserve to be there, and there's people that doesn't deserve to be there. We'll talk about that some stuff later on, and get into that. But anyway, like I said, I don't know how to edit my videos and stuff, so I'm trying to keep them around, trying to keep them short, 20-30 minutes, so I ain't speaking long and all that, because I don't know how to edit and all that right now, and I'm doing it from my iPhone. So anyway, on the road to the Rotary Farm where I'm gonna get classified. Okay, now if you've never been to prison, you don't know what to expect or nothing like that, there's some butterflies in your stomach. Because you don't, even if you got dudes that's coming from jail that you know that you rock with, there's still some butterflies because you fear the unknown. Every human being in this world fears the unknown. If they say they don't fear the unknown, they've been there already, or they're a damn liar. That's a fact. So, you hear all these stories and stuff like that, but like I said, I get put in and I'm all the way in the back where the showers are. You got a bunk, and then there's the showers, and you gotta be careful. If somebody's taking a shower, you know, if you're on top bunk, you gotta put some stuff up there so you can't see nobody in the shower. You know, whether it be books or whatever, you know, you put up there if you're laying in your bunk at the time that people do that. I had bottom bunk pass because I'm epileptic, so I had that bottom bunk. I couldn't see in the shower. The wall ended where the top bunk started, so there was a small gap but not a very big one, so I wasn't worried about it. But that's the cut where if there's trouble and people are using the bathroom, or if their showers just took up, like most of the time, that's the cut where people are getting to thumping, fight over card games, over gambling, over anything. Dominoes, man. Dominoes was a big fight mess. But we're going to get to my Bunky. Alright, my Bunky got life. I had a Bunky, had life. We're going to call him B at this point. Not gonna give a name or nothing like that, but he was a murderer. He killed his wife, And I don't know the details of it, but I think he said along lines of cheating and then cut it off. But okay, dude's a murderer. I'm in here for second-degree burglary and receiving stolen property. So I'm in here with people that are straight killers. This dude did this on purpose, premeditated life. Wasn't no manslaughter or nothing like that. He killed her, you know. And wasn't afraid to talk about his charges, but I knew that it wouldn't be long, that there was going to be trouble at my bunk. So there was this guy come in, and you can't use the R word on YouTube or nothing like, I don't want to say, you know, tard, but he had that crazy strength that people have that's messed up in the head, you know. So they're playing cards one day, him and my bunkie. They're over in the cut, the other cut, next to that's where the bathroom is. You know, they're at that cut because it's bigger and they can play cards in that cut, you know, and don't disturb nobody's walkway and stuff like that. Well, that's where they gambled and play cards. Right off the bat, my bunkie don't like this dude. My bunkie works out. You know, he's a pretty, you know, he 235-pound white boy. You know, he's... Now, in Kentucky, I don't know how it works in other states or nothing like that. In Kentucky, it's kind of, you know, 50-50 pretty much on whites and blacks. You know, it's not... like they don't have the numbers we got. I think we may have more numbers in Kentucky. I'm not sure on that. I didn't pay attention to that because it didn't really bother me. So I've heard, you know, other people talking about their prison stories where the whites was, you know, ruling. Then I've heard people talk about where there was the minority. They was not very many, you know, 15% or so. But in this state here in particular, it's kind of even. It's kind of balanced, you know. As far as numbers go, it might be like 60-40 white with the 10% number. But like I said, you got white boys like me that ain't a part of race, ain't a part of that, ain't a part of, you know, all the bullshit, all the politics, all that stuff that comes along with the gang shit. So you got that, you know, that would be the first time I would know there was other religions. I didn't know that there was other religions. And I know you're gonna say, oh, that's crazy, you didn't know there's... Listen, I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I didn't know anything that there was any other. I knew they was Baptist. I knew they was Pentecostal, and I knew there was Christianity and all that. That's it. That's all I knew. I got to prison and I learned that they was Muslim, they was Buddhism, they was Oldism, they was all kinds of different religions. Okay. You know, Scientology, I learned that, you know, at the age of 23. You know, I really hadn't had to live life much. You know, I had a couple kids, and I wasn't the best father at that time. I just wasn't. I made sure they had what they needed and what they had. And I was a drug addict and stuff like that, but I didn't do nothing in front of my kids. I tried to make sure that they took care of, they had everything they need. You know, we had, somebody called social workers, but we was not the kind of drug addicts that didn't take care of their kids. Like, my kids' stuff came first. Then we got our stuff. And by ours, I mean me and my wife at the time. So, I've never been a drug addict that hasn't made sure that his kids had what they needed. But they've never had diapers on for days. Like, I've seen people with kids that shouldn't have had them. They shouldn't have had them, but they did. But anyway, that's a story for another time. like I said, it's already been 10 minutes, so I'm gonna try to keep this one around 20. But anyway, we get in our bunk area, and you know, you gotta clip your name tag to the shower list whenever you come in from rec or whatever. And sometimes people will clip their name onto yours and ride with you, because you got like 12 showers across the wall, so you can have 2 or 3 people in there, you know. And that's the only way you're gonna. Everybody can't take a shower by themselves. You're gonna have days where you can. You're gonna have days that people's gonna try to ride with you that you know. So anyway, me and my Bunky, we got his name tag on the shower list. He's over there playing poker with this guy that he judged before he got to know him. Don't judge a book by its cover. Do not do that. Don't judge a book by its cover. Just because somebody's messed up in the head. This dude had a big scar all the way up because he said he was in a car wreck or something like that. And it messed him up, you know. But he still could speak and stuff, you know. I don't know what kind of charges he had or anything. But I think my Bunky thought that he was a bad charged person. But we've come to find out that he wasn't. Well, actually, it wasn't like that kind of charge, but I think he like hit his mom or something, like something. I can't remember exactly. This has been years ago. So the stories I'm telling you, I'm trying to, you know, come back and memorize. You don't forget a lot of things, but it takes a little time to come to your mind, you know, because you block some things out, you know. You just do. That's just how it is. Bad things and stuff like that, like really, really bad things, you block out and you remember them later. But anyway, they're over gambling, and I know this is only going to end one way, because I'm in my bunk, I'm laid down, I'm watching. I'm acting like I'm reading a book, but I'm watching. So B at this time is starting to slam his cards on the table. You know, he's starting to fold. He's starting to get mad. Dude that's supposed to be, you know, like I was telling you, judged him that he was off, was winning. Taking commissary. They brought their commissary at this point to the game, so whoever won got the bag. Game ends, B loses everything, everybody else lost everything, everybody else dispersed, B slams his stuff down. I want my stuff back. You ain't getting shit from me, he said. Oh boy stood up off the gray box. You got them gray box with the slide out lids. That's what they was sitting on. Boy stood up. He's a bigger dude too. But like I said, he got that strength. And they go to commence to putting hands on each other, right? Well, he drops my Bunky about 3 shots. Ping, 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 boom. He drops him. Dude gets back up. Boom, boom, boom. They start firing off again. Ends up from over there, across the pod in the middle of the day in my area now. They're fighting in my area. This dude's got my Bunky up against the wall with his forearm pressed up on his neck. Fucking just boom, boom, boom. Waylaying him. Dude says, okay, you got it. You win. I'm done. He's busted his nose and mouth, stuff like that. Blacked his eye, you know. And so that's how that would go. Dude leaves the cut. Takes his commissary, goes up there, eats, does whatever. He starts pacing for a little bit, though, because he's still mad. You know, everybody's still got their and my bunky's at the bunk trying to heal up. He said, I was like, you can sit on my bunk, because I had a bottom bunk. He didn't have the energy to jump up to his bunk. So I was like, look, you can sit at the foot of my bunk until you can climb up. So we're sitting there talking, and there's a black dude named Trey right across from us that we kicked it every day. You know, we hollered. If I didn't have something to eat, he made sure I was good. If I had something, I made sure he was good. So Trey was a good dude. Shout out to you, Trey, from Lexington. Shout out, brother. But anyway, we would proceed to talk about what just happened. And I was like, I thought you said you could whoop that dude. I thought you said you had hands. I thought you said, you could do that. And he said, he turns and he looks at me and he said, that dude has the most strength, that he was so hard for me to handle. And I was like, I told you, them kind of people, you got to watch. You can't judge a book by its cover. He said, yeah, I learned that. I said, I learned that in jail. You don't win every fight. You just don't. You don't win every fight. Not everybody don't win every fight. Everybody ain't like that. Everybody don't. You're going to lose at some point, whether if they jump you or what. You're going to lose at some point. In some prison, you're going to get lured somewhere and they're going to smoke you. Okay? That's a story I'm going to tell another time too as well. Something happened to me like that. So, over some guy checking in, and I ended up running back into him on the street not too long ago. Almost had to put hands on him on the street, and I didn't want to go back to jail. He left, and it was, done. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But anyway, this guy, my Bunky B, healed up, became friends with this dude. They broke bread, they ended it, squashed it, boom, it's done. Hands laid, debts paid. That's how it went. Hands laid, debts paid. In Kentucky, you fight, it's over. If you owe somebody money, you owe somebody something for dope, whether it be for commissary, whether it be you fronted something you can't pay, you people don't send money, you ain't got that, you don't live like that. Hands laid, debts paid. You take your ass whooping and go on. Sometimes it's a bad ass whooping. Sometimes it's not that bad. You just lumped up, go on. That's how it is. But that was the story of my Bunky and that guy at the Rotary. He underestimated that guy to the point to where he bucked and said he wasn't going to do something, and he got smashed. And when I say smashed, he wore a black eye for a month. Like one of them black eyes that just stayed green and wouldn't heal for a while. His other eye had healed, but the other one, you could still tell that he'd been in a fight. And they do count and all that stuff, and they didn't get caught because it didn't mess with their knuckles and stuff or anything like that. But dude was mostly using forearm, bam, 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 elbows and stuff. And my Bunky only hit him a few times before dude took over the fight. So Bunky's hands was good too, so they didn't know what happened and they didn't catch it, and they lived happily ever after. Happily ever after. But then they would proceed to move me to yellow, which you're in blue and yellow. Blue is into, to get shipped. But at this time, it would take longer to ship me, so they put me in yellow, and I was only there for 3 days. But I had a cool Bunky then. Shout out to that dude. That dude was cool. I can't remember his name straight up, but he was he was Mexican. He was a cool dude. Stocky build. He was cool as fuck. If you ever see this video, bro, my Bunky that I had at the Rotary Farm, if you ever see the video, holler at me. Now, this dude was an Army sniper in the military, and I told him if I ever run across him on the street, I would fuck with you. Holler at me. If you ever see a video of me, just don't be afraid to holler at me. I don't know if you remember me or not, because it's been so many years ago, but holler at me if you do. You're a good dude. You served your country, you got jammed up, and we all make mistakes on a daily. We make mistakes. Cops make mistakes on a daily. But we'll get into that another day too. But I love y'all. And like I said, if you're dealing with any kind of mental stuff or anything like that, don't be afraid to holler at me. You know, I don't know why it's shutting off my comments and stuff like my videos. You can't comment, but I don't know. Yeah, I got email on there if you have to holler at me through that way or something. But I'll try to figure out. I'll try to learn this stuff as I go on this stuff. But like I said, I've had YouTube videos for years, but I haven't never really done this stuff. You know, but. Subscribe, guys. I need 500 to 1,000 subscribers before I can be monetized. I already got the other thing. I already got the 3 uploads done. Already got that done. So, I need some subscribers, guys. Hit that subscribe button, notification. Don't forget, smash the like button. And hit that subscribe button. I gotta have 500. I think I only got like 31 right now. So I'm hurting right now. But I want to do this and let people know about stuff you deal with in Kentucky. You know, Kentucky prisons, Kentucky jails. So you don't go back. But anyway, keep it real, keep it 100. We're going to tell you some more stories later on. Hope y'all liked this video. I try to keep it 20 minutes. So it's 22. Love you guys. Subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. Love y'all. Catch you next time.